صوتك يفرق.
Once again, we'd like to welcome all your audience, all the audience watching this very special program, the Kuwait parliamentary elections. We're live right here in the studio, the KTV2 studio at the Ministry of Information in downtown Kuwait. And right now we have with us our second guest right here. It's a very distinguished guest that we have with us right here in the studio. We have with us Dr. Fahad Al-Shulaimy, and Dr. Fahad is the chairman of the Peace and Security Forum. And Dr. Fahad, it's so nice to have you with us right here on this special program, the parliamentary program.
I'm pleased to be here also, and I think it's a good chance to discuss and to explain to some of our viewers about the election in Kuwait, the real
details of what's taking
place in this hot summer and in this fasting month.
Yeah, Dr. Fahad, it is the first time that we have elections during the holy month of Ramadan.
Yeah.
Tell us about the process. We'll get to the process and how it's going, but I know you've already cast your vote.
Yes, yes.
So tell us about that. How was it in the 4th constituency?
Exactly.
Was it crowded when you went this morning?
Yes.
How was it, Doctor?
I came to the poll center by 8 o'clock sharp, and I found there is a long queue, and we waited like 10 minutes, then we went in, and I got stamp for my citizenship ID, which is
you just hold it still a little bit there.
This one, that is 2013. And I think I did my
you did your duty, Doctor.
I did my duty as a citizen.
Yes, yes.
And hopefully we do it many times in a democratic and peaceful means.
So you said, Dr. Fahad, there was a long queue in the 4th constituency?
In Al-Jahra.
Right when you went in the morning, huh?
In Al-Jahra city.
Okay.
People, they were motivated. Many people did not sleep since last night, so they prefer to come
early on to finish
early and vote and go. We will have a slow rhythm in the afternoon, in the noon time.
Yeah.
Then we have a prayer.
I think it'll pick up just before Futur, maybe.
But after the afternoon, which is 3:30 to 4 o'clock, people will be ready again. Then we will see heavy crowds. Hopefully we reach over 50, although there are some...
when you're over 50, Doctor, you mean over 50%? Okay.
50% of the voters, the turnout voters. The reason I'm saying that, because we have a hot weather, extreme heat, honestly.
Yes, it is very hot.
We have a fasting month. But the motivation I saw in some places in the 4th district, it gave the impression that is we might reach that.
Inshallah, this is what we hope for.
Over 50%.
I mean, because Dr. Fahad, every vote counts.
Exactly.
We want people to go out and vote. Before you came on air, also we were taking a look at the 5th constituency.
Yeah.
Also, there was a big turnout.
Yes.
A lot of people were coming out early morning for that. Also, taking a look at the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd were a bit slower, but they're picking up also, Dr. Fahad.
And if you allow me just a few words, I think the one vote system, one person, one vote, was successful. The reason, it gave the chance to many minorities in the society, either in urban or tribal areas, and gave us, that's why we saw 325 nominees. They wanted to go to the election. So they have a fair chance. The race line for all nominees is one baseline. So they could have the race and they have an equal chances. And that is one of the positive side of the one vote system. Second, it gives people who has a good chance, either well educated, they have a good political agenda, and they have a popular support. it gave them the chance to go to this election, and the number for the competition is easy to reach for minorities. The old system was not working well with minorities and with small groups, with small tribes, with well-educated people. If I may add,
sure,
we have in this election we have 41 nominees hold a PhD holder.
Doctor, before we get to, I know you prepared a very nice summary of their educational background.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, please, Dr. Fahad, we're going to go to constituency number 1, where we have our correspondent there, Ghanwa, who is there. Can you tell us, Ghanwa, what's taking place?
To exercise democracy and elect the candidate they feel will best represent them, and they are very happy to do so. So the number of voters has been very high in the early hours of this morning, Saturday morning.
Well, we'd like to thank you, Ghanwa, for that valuable information. And Dr. Fahad, looks like in the first constituency also a good turnout now. People are coming out.
I think the timing is important. People want to use this chance, especially early morning and until noon, to go and vote. Mostly, this is different. In regular days, with no Ramadan time, you could see the senior citizen come first. Today, the youths and the young men and women went first because they were they were staying.
They stayed up late.
Yeah, exactly.
Completing, the suhoor and then
exactly,
maybe staying up late.
And they extended their stay, so they
finish at 8 a.m.
They came early today. We could see some senior citizens after Al-Asr prayer, the afternoon, which is at 4 o'clock. We will see some senior citizens in more dense.
Dr. Fahad Al-Shulaimy, you also prepared a very nice summary of some of the educational backgrounds of some of our candidates. Could you please share that information with our audience watching, please?
Sure. In fact, education is playing a big factor in Kuwait election the last 10 years. People, they were asking about his educational background, about his professional background, about his experience, about his view and his vision. This kind of question was not addressed since 20 years. And what we could see in this election, that is 40% nominees, they hold a PhD.
That's a large percentage, Doctor.
Which is 9.8% from the 325. Then we have 51 nominees, they had a master's degree, which is 12%. Then we have on the ages, in fact, we have 235 nominees over university degree.
Okay.
So either getting the university or the college degree or over it. Ages, we have youths from 30 years to 39 years old. We found 92 people, which is 22%. Now we have over an age from 40 to 49. We have 171, which is 40%. From over 50, we have people 155, which is equal 37%. Even in the media, you could see now the numbers, the figures, the statistics, educational background, educational qualification, and that is improve the democratic life of Kuwait. In the last 20 years, as far I know, people are not interested in what is his educational background, what is his qualification, about the ages. The youths, they have a big space of this percent, especially addressing their programs, their visions, even His Highness the Amir always talking about giving the youth the chances.
Yeah, this is a good election for the youth to participate. But we're going to go back now to constituency number 1, which is we're going to go to our correspondent there, Ghanwa. So let's go to Ghanwa. Good morning, Ghanwa. Tell us what's taking place at constituency number 1.
Yes, it's amazing. The number of voters has been very high. A few have actually spoken to me and said they feel proud to be able to exercise their democratic right and come elect the candidate that is going to represent them.
Is there a good turnout so far? We're about 3 hours into the process.
A very high turnout, actually. It's very active. People just keep on coming in and feel very passionate about today, although it's quite hot, and as you know, it's Ramadan, yet people feel this is a more reason to come and perform their national duties.
Well, that's really good to hear that there's a good turnout. Can you tell our audience where you are exactly in the first constituency? Because it looks it's very crowded there, a lot of people.
Yes, I'm at Sayyid Muhammad Musawi Elementary School for Boys.
Okay, and now, go ahead.
Yes, and as I have said, I've spoken to a number of people actually who have feel so much zeal and say that this is a very important day, and in spite of it being so hot and people are fasting, they've said that this is more of a reason that they feel that people should come out and be encouraged to come and cast their vote, as it is definitely, they feel a sense of patriotism on this day to come and cast their vote.
And is it mostly, you see a lot of youth, elderly, let's say the middle-aged? Who's mostly been coming out this morning?
Oh, it's all ages, the young, middle-aged, the elderly, people on wheelchair. It's just amazing. They feel this a sense of bond together, and they seem to be mingling with each other, and it's so good to see the scenes that are around me and the Kuwaitis that are coming. It's just amazing to see the high turnout and the passion they feel towards coming to Sayyid Muhammad Al-Musawi Elementary School for Boys to come and cast their vote.
And Ghanwa, how is the process there? Are things going smoothly when they enter and they go to their specific place to cast their ballot? Tell us about the process, how things are, the organization.
Yes, everything has been organized, facilitated to the core. They can immediately enter the room and cast their ballot. It's smooth. It's extremely smooth, actually.
And there seemed to be a long waiting period. There seems to be a lot of people behind you there in line, so which is a good sign too. Tell us about that.
No, they don't seem to be waiting too long, and even if there is a slight delay, as I told you, I've spoken to some people, and they're very happy to be doing this, and even if there is a delay, they feel that it's okay, that they should come here and wait and be delayed if there is so. If they come across a delay, they feel that this is something positive to come and wait and do something like this on this day of casting the ballot.
Yeah, perform their national duty, yeah?
Yeah, they're very enthusiastic about coming to cast their ballot. They don't feel the heat for some reason. They don't feel that they're fasting for some reason. All this, they're taking it in a positive way and feel very happy in doing so.
Well, it's good to see the enthusiasm of everyone there, and also your enthusiasm, Ghanwa. We thank you so much for your time and your effort that you're doing right there. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about what's taking place at the first constituency, please?
No, apart from lots of Kuwaitis being here and taking the opportunity to, I suppose, mingle with each other and greet each other on this Saturday day, and while they are fasting, I think it's given them, the election day has given them an opportunity to catch up on other businesses, I suppose, which they feel happy doing so.
Well, we'd like to thank you so much, Ghanwa, for your time, and braving the hot weather there, and thank you for your report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Back to you at the studio now.
Thank you very much. Dr. Fahad, as we took a look at there earlier, even now, constituency 1,
yes.
Where our reporter, their correspondent Ghanwa, was very active. You see in the background, you saw behind the correspondent, a lot of people there, so it looks like I'm hoping for a very good turnout this year.
Yes, I agree on that, and I think we could see some numbers by noon by our media correspondents saying it's 30% or 25% so far, but mostly we will see a sharp rise on the time from 4 to 8 o'clock, normally. Noon time is a lazy time for election. And I just want to add something.
Sure.
That is in the 4th district. I met with international observers, and I had a chat with them. One of them from Japan, one from Lebanon, and the team leader was Aziz Al-Mullah from Kuwait. We chatted around like 5 minutes and about the system, and they were very pleased and they came from Transparency Committee, and they were international observers about the transparency of the election. My first impression, they were pleased. They went through many committees and many election committees. And
they got to see our process a little bit here, huh?
Exactly. They check the boxes. They saw the boxes. They came and monitored. They saw the queues and the lines and the people. And I was active enough to say hi to them, and I discussed with them some issues, either negative or positives. But in general, the feedback I got from them, it is a fair. So far, a fair election. That was the sentence.
I mean, we do have to say, I mean, you're more of an expert, Dr. Fahad, that our election process here is a very good process, a very clean, organized process. People cast their ballots from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They're then counted, double-checked, everything is checked thoroughly and then announced. Tell us about the process.
And if you have a problem, it is all what you said. But if you have a problem, you could go and appeal.
Yes.
And then you could go to the court, and then they could bring all your
so it's very transparent.
Ruling. So it's mostly transparency. There are some minor problems which is happening in every country and every day, and the Ministry of Interior, they were very active.
They're doing a great job.
There were before and still, I mean still until yesterday, there was a vote buying and selling votes, but
unfortunately this is happening a little bit.
But the Ministry of Interior, they were
clamping. They're trying to close this down.
They were very strict in enforcing the law, and many people, they were arrested for that.
I mean, as His Highness the Emir said, Dr. Fahad, you know, the law must be implemented on all, from the biggest to the smallest. So this is inshallah something even the new parliament will hopefully force the law to be implemented on all.
And the good part, that is comparing Kuwait with the region. If you go to the region as a strategic person, if you go to the region, you could see the region is in flame. While we have in the GCC, and especially in Kuwait, people are staying in the queue, they have chat. Even the competitions and the competitors, you could see them shaking hands and talking to each other. That is a blessing.
It is, yeah.
It is really a blessing. Good, yeah. And hopefully this will continue. Although the interest of the Kuwaiti nominees and the Kuwaiti citizen wanted, which is the same regular things: education, housing,
health,
and this is the main big cases. And just I want to bear your mind that is, we have many officials visiting this polling, starting from Ministry of Interiors, then you could see the Minister of Information.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, Dr. Fahad, just before you came on at the 4th district,
he was in Al-Jahra.
The Minister of Information Sheikh Salman Al-Sabah was visiting to take a
Yes,
look
yes.
at the 4th constituency and how things are moving along.
I met two of the Kuwait TV crew, and I asked them, and they said, well, maybe we expect the minister here.
And he did show up.
Yeah,
he was there.
yeah.
He's going around all the constituencies.
And that's the good part. I just want to really add that is the spirit of election. The language it has different meanings, and I could see a big changes between the harsh language. We could hear it in other campaigns, I mean the past campaigns, and the election campaigns now. These campaigns talking about health, education, monitoring the public funds, and housing. Compare it with 5 years or 3 years before, you could see the harsh, threatening, and bringing the heart and the motion of the people and blocking their minds.
Yes.
While in this election we saw a reasonable election speeches.
We're talking about the topics, not talking about individuals.
Hitting the target, going to the point directly. And the Kuwaiti citizen, he became more smart and clever. And I think we could see new faces in this in this upcoming national assembly.
That brings me to my next question.
Yes.
How do you see these elections going? I mean, who has the advantage? Let's say the ones that were running before, because they are known.
Yeah.
You said new faces.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
We could see some people of running before, especially the people who run on December
The election then,
2012.
Yes.
They have a chance because they were in the media for 6 months. They contacted with the people, so they make an image, a political image. The other competitors is the youths. They are consisting of 22%, 92 young men and women. And they have a fair chance because the way they address the issue, they address
talk to the youth
in a different way. They were talking about the future for 15 years, and this is something we were missed in our previous campaigns. I mean, election campaigns. I think that is one of the. We will have new faces, and we will have some youths in this upcoming.
Inshallah, we
national
hope
assembly.
for the best for all of the candidates running. But right now, we're going to take a short break and then be back with you right here on our special program dealing with the parliamentary elections. Stay tuned. Good morning once again. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the parliamentary elections for the parliament that's taking place right here in the state of Kuwait. And our guest live right here in the studio, we have with us Dr. Fahad Al-Shulaimy. And Dr. Fahad is the chairman of the Peace and Security Forum. And Doctor, as we're winding up this segment with you this morning, tell us the future. How do you see the future of this parliament, which inshallah tomorrow or early on in the morning we'll know the results of the goals? What do you want them to achieve, Dr. Fahad?
Honestly, I want them to achieve what the citizen or what the people of Kuwait wish. They wanted an improvement in their health system, educational system. Even there is some wishes to change some amendment in the Kuwaiti constitutions. Some minor changes, the process of the election, the independence of judicial system. I think that is things I really heard from many nominees. And if you ask the Kuwaiti about it, or the Kuwaitis about it, men or women, they wanted this kind of issue. So that became on the youth's agenda. The nominee, the people between 30 to 39.
Inshallah, this parliament, Doctor, will stay the 4 years too.
There are some words against that, but politically I think it will stay for 4 years, hopefully.
To have stability and
Exactly.
let the parliament members work on their agendas to help the country.
Also, we could see some harmony with this National Assembly.
Yes.
Although we have some groups, which is an interest and political groups within the National Assembly, but mainly I could see some harmonization.
Working together.
Working together. I think there is a big load on the government to speed up. They wanted the new faces from the government, and these kind of the wishes of Kuwaiti citizens. So it is a bird with two wings. You cannot fly with one wing.
Exactly.
There is the executive branch and there is the legislation branch. So the bird could fly
together and work in harmony.
So I think we might see some changes, mostly 50%.
New faces.
New faces. And between 50 to 45%. I just want to be accurate on that. Also, we could see some changes in Kuwait government, at least 7 ministers.
Okay.
At least.
Well, we'd like to thank you so much, Dr. Fahad, for joining us on this parliamentary elections. And we also commend you and thank you for going early in the morning to cast your ballot and then coming directly here. I know it's been a very busy morning for you.
It's okay.
We thank you so much for your time.
Glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for having me.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. We are speaking to Dr. Fahad Al-Shulaimy, and we really appreciate his time. It's been a very busy morning for Dr. Fahad, coming all the way here in the studio. He casts his ballot in the morning. We thank him for his valuable time. Dr. Fahad is the chairman of the Peace and Security Forum. Right now we'll take a short break and then be back with you right here on our special program. Stay tuned.